Hello everybody. Oh, finally we get to do viewfinders. Oh my gosh, these, I've been talking about them for months. It's just my way of working out how to build a composition, but also how not to be distracted by everything around the picture. So hello and thank you. Whoops, probably should have brushed my hair today. Yes, so what I've got is we've created a product for you and you can do this yourself at home. So don't feel this is a must-have, but a must-have is you either have to make it yourself or get these. So you do need them, it's just how you come about them. So we've put together a pack for you and you've got 8 different viewfinders. You're getting rectangles, squares, ovals and circles. Each one is in 2 different sizes. And they're on 400 GSM, so they're pretty sturdy. You can see this is holding its shape. You put them on top of each other and you can use them either to see how it's going to look when you've got a frame, or you've got 2 different sizes of viewfinder. And when I've got a design like this and I'm building my design up. So let's say I'm putting my little bunnies down here and I've got all this space up here. It's like, what am I doing with it all? How am I going to use this space up? And what about if I want to do a smaller card or a different shape? What's it going to look like if I put a circle aperture or I matte and layer this onto a rectangle? What are the effects that we're going to get? And I've just got a couple of cards here, and this one in particular I think is really a good one as an example. We've got a circle that's actually on the edge of a card, over the edge. It's not directly cutting through the middle, so it isn't sort of fitting halfway across the card. It isn't symmetrical on either side. We've got part of the design feeding into this one, and it's quite hard to, without cutting all these pieces out, to imagine what it would look like. If we'd used our circle viewfinder, we would have been able to do that. Try our greenery around the side, try the elements around the edge, and it would have come together much easier. And hello everyone for just joining us. Something new for you, at the moment only available on Highlight on the website. These are our viewfinders, okay? So I'm going to go through the different shapes. I'm going to leave bunnies there and let's go with the rectangles and look at what happens now. So what I can see is I can see very clearly how the design's going to be framed. Whether I would like it to be portrait or landscape, what that's going to look like. Also, it helps me decide on my card shapes as well. So this one we can see would be a landscape design. But let's come on to the ovals because, again, I'm going to line both of these up. So all you'll have to do is lay one on top of the other. And look at the difference here now. So those little rabbits are not going to fit perfectly inside the oval, but one of them looks great just over the edge. So that's one option. Let's go a little bit higher up the card. So let's take it up, the bunnies up into that part of the design. Again, you can see looks completely different. So we're now moving into another area of this piece of backing paper. And I'm going to keep moving it up, getting these bunnies closer and closer so that actually it's now looking like they're branches or brambles that are going over the edge. And then I could take a little bit more of that bramble and really sort of start to bring it to life. Another one for you. So, and look at the difference. Look at how they've moved up here. Now this is really interesting. This is where they come into their own. Because if we were building this card, there's no way we'd put those bunnies up there because they look like they're sort of floating in space. But let's take the circles. I'll show you. This is exactly what I mean about those viewfinders. They look perfectly positioned. So although on this background they look in a really strange place and we would be wanting to put them down here, I want you to revisit all your backgrounds and look at that one. We're going to take them up there. They're flying. Got flying bunnies. But look how different it makes everything when you start to put all these elements together. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the squares. So, and we'll do this a few times with a few different designs. Clearly doesn't work up there. So let's bring those little bunnies down here and put them just there. Or how about we come right down to the bottom and we can move them around. Where would we put them? Let's have a look and see. I might even take this one over the edge and that one just there. So you can see how taking a viewfinder, it completely transforms what we're seeing in the background. Let's look at a few more different designs. So here's another one for us. So I've just been dipped into all my paper packs, and you've got lots of downloads to choose from as well. This is interesting. So I start to look at my composition. I look at, in my mind, where I'm going to build it. Now, lots of people can see pictures in the head, and I sort of have a cinema going all the time. I know the lovely Mel Heaton, she doesn't see the picture until it's in front of her, and then she's off. So it depends on how you visualise your projects. And a big hello to everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm going to put some messages on afterwards. I'm just sort of right in the depths of viewfinders. And so we're going to put this square on. And when I then put that square on, it's the moon has become the real focal point of this story. If I then cut that moon so that there's just a little bit of it showing through, the focal point then becomes these trees. Now I'm going to go back into that moon. I'm going to take a branch, a silhouette branch, that will just tuck across here, and some little of my robins, and let's just put them there. And we've got the robins silhouetted against the moon. So different look, different feel. If I lift this off and I come into my circles, so different. If I take those circles like this, you can see that I'm really maximising the potential of that story. Again, it changes completely. But let's go and change our orientation. So we've been looking at portrait and landscape. I'm going to go into something where we're going into, in fact, no, we'll do this one next because this is one of my favourites. We're going to go into the detail of this design. So here we've got the greenery and the trees clearly in the foreground because it's closest and it's large. This is our midground, this is our background up here. So by taking our viewfinders, and remember these are on 400 GSM. Now, when you cut something as fine as this as a border on the edge of the A4, it obviously clearly weakens it. So if this wasn't the weight it is, we're not going to be able to have something as sturdy and also that's going to last as long. But you can see here how I'm naturally starting to capture that image, and it changes everything. If I go and I don't use the two of them together, but I reduce down the size, I've reduced the aperture, it's made it smaller, there's less of the design to see. It helps me then decide where I'm going to put the elements of my project, and I'm just going to frame around that curve, and then let's just put a couple of the little bunnies in here, and we've created a card instantly. If I then change this, I'm going to lift off the elements that I've got. This all helps me plan when I'm doing mats and layers. So if I want to be able to create more dimension, so I'm going to do something, I'm taking this tree and I'm going to use it as foliage. And I'm just going to tuck it under there. So we're going between our mats and layers. So these are the sizes that I would use for my foundation dies to be able to get this dimension. I can then put my bunny just here or have it here. I can take my blackberries and take them so that they're coming down the design, so they don't always have to actually go up or across. I would be trimming in because these berries are making it a little bit unruly, so I'd be taking those off, bringing the design in, and you can see how having that extra layer of detail in there is just building your composition. So you are coming from behind, you're coming in front, you're looking through, and if I take this whole thing and I slide it across the design, look at how different it is. Immediately the berries are more suited to being on the other side, or even for coming across the top of our design. So we've got a lot of options, but that viewfinder just frames the design and makes it easy for us. So I'm going to move away from the oval and go to our rectangle. And this time we're going to go, let's go wide. So let's really go wide. And I'm going to make it incredibly simple, something really easy for us to be able to visualize. And let's just take some poppies. And I've got my poppies and I'm just going to tuck them in here and just to the side, and I've instantly created another dimension. Fabulous card, lots of detail in it. I could put another set of poppies here over the edge if I chose to, or just a single poppy. I can leave the poppy there. Let's bring this one over the edge, and we'll tuck it underneath, just there. And then bring another one over the edge, so you're behind, you're in front, and just take one other character and bring it to there. And that background now is really doing its job. Background, midground, foreground. So let's turn it all around and take a look at how this looks. And each time you'll see how different it is. So am I going to take more of that sky, as much as the viewfinder will allow, or am I going to come down and reduce the amount of sky and change where my design is? And if I come down here, it's almost all greenery, very little of the design to actually go behind. Then let's go once more into here. I'm going to choose another one, this one. So when you get an image like this, it's perfect for us to be able to pick and choose where we want to go. So am I going to have the barns in the picture? Am I going to have them coming out of the picture? Am I going to take them away from the picture? It looks so different each time we move it round. But more than that, when I change the shape that I'm working with, look at how, again, that really changes what I'm doing. Now when I go right up here and I've just got a little bit of those florals, look at how influential my poppies become. They are such a focal point in that story, and they really look like they're right in front. And it's almost as if the background's just softened, printed on vellum, but in fact it's printed on the cardstock. But I'm going to come down here and I'm going to bring in more of those flowers. And look now at how less prominent those poppies are. So remember, in the collection, you've got squares and you're getting 2 of those. You've got oval circles, you've got 2 of those. You've got 2 of the ovals and 2 of the rectangles. And I'm going to beg your pardon and apologise right now that I can't tell you the exact sizes of the apertures, but I promise you that they will be on the website when you check it out. In the meantime, massive thank you. I'll reply to all of your messages. We're so close now to being able to do this in our studio. I don't think I'll be saying that for much longer. And I really look forward to seeing you again. And don't forget, this is going to save you time. It'll save you frustration. And in the long run, probably save you some money too.